What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Joe Bonamassa here at rehearsal. We're actually making music with humanoids. Wow, what a novel concept this has become. Anyway, ArtistWorks and our foundation, Keeping the Blues Alive, has teamed up for Giving Tuesday, and we're doing a live stream event to raise money for the Fueling Musicians program. And a lot of the artists that you're going to see on this live stream are recipients of the grant that we gave out in the summertime to help musicians in need. Everybody's having a rough go. I mean, our industry is shut down. So anything you can spare is great. And again, thank you to ArtistWorks for their generosity, not only with their platform, but their contribution to our Fueling Musicians program. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you on the road soon. If not, we'll just be sitting here waiting for a gig.
Thank you, Joe Bonamassa, for that great message. I am Patricia Butler, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of ArtistWorks, and I want to welcome all of you to a very special 90-minute show, if that's what we want to call it, where all 90 minutes are going to be dedicated to this great organization called Keeping the Blues Alive. They are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that funds projects and scholarships to allow students and teachers, that's important, all the resources and the tools that they need to further music education. It was founded by Joe Bonamassa, who's a two-time Grammy-nominated blues artist, and his mission is to conserve the art of music in schools by funding their projects, to provide scholarships and also grants that preserve music education for the next generation. Joe Bonamassa's Fueling Musicians program is really the focus of our attention today. And this is an important emergency relief plan for touring musicians that have been affected by COVID-19. And we're going to talk to 5 of them today, 5 of the recipients of this Fueling Musicians program that I want to make sure that you are aware of today. They support musicians by providing $1,500 to help with essential living expenses like food, shelter, and lots more. They've raised over $375,000, and they've helped 225 musicians. But this pandemic continues. Therefore, the financial need continues to support these musicians and music education. So we're going to spend the next 90 minutes talking with 5 recipients of these grants. ArtistWorks is very proud to be a financial supporter of Keeping the Blues Alive and to help support some of these musicians whose world has just completely, utterly changed. And it is important to keep the music alive. And many of you have heard me say that our mission at ArtistWorks is to teach the world music. We're very happy to be aligned with Joe Bonamassa and his great organization. And I truly hope that you will join us in supporting their Fueling Musicians program, because they really are doing important work to keep these musicians in their livelihood and making live music for all of us. So helping us here today to support this organization is ArtistWorks' own faculty, Keith Wyatt, who teaches electric blues guitar. We just call him Professor. And Nashville's own Guthrie Trapp, who teaches country guitar, but really also just about any other kind of guitar that you would like to learn. So we're going to start off our event today with some great music by these 2 players. And the first person that's going to help us do that is Guthrie Trapp.
Hi there, everybody. I'm always happy to be a part of these things, proud to be a part of this this online curriculum at ArtistWorks. And Joe Bonamassa, who me and him have recently become friends. He lives part of his time here in Nashville, and I get to work with a bunch of people that are now in his band. And so what a great connection, and just what a beautiful thing. Happy to share some music with you guys. So I'm just going to play a little bit and let that do the talking. All right.
Guthrie, that was beautiful and virtuosic. So
Oh,
let me show the other side.
thanks, man.
Oh no.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing you do. It's a thing you do.
Yeah.
Well, in case our viewers haven't figured out, that's Keith Wyatt, professor of blues guitar here at ArtistWorks. And I'd like to also introduce Marcus Liscombe. Hi, Marcus.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
So far, so good. Marcus works alongside me at ArtistWorks and is a professional musician himself and helps me co-host many of these live events, including this very special one today, where our focus is on keeping the Blues Alive program and throwing a little financial support their way. So, Marcus, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to see both of you, Keith and Guthrie, as well as Patricia.
Hey,
You
Marcus.
too, always, Marcus.
Yeah. So
We're
lively music.
Yeah, I know. That's a great way to start out. So let's see, Guthrie, you're down in Nashville, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in beautiful, sunny East Nashville, Tennessee, with all the flannel shirts, and there's lots of beards and flannel shirts over here in this neighborhood. There must be a lot of wood chopping going on over here. I don't know what's going on. But
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah,
But is
it's all
there
good.
wood chopping happening in LA, Keith, where you are? You're in LA.
This is a little bit less on the wood chopping side. It's we play a little bit more uptown here, but
you guys got those gas fires out there. You just flip a switch, and then those haven't made it this far out east yet.
well, it's an innovative concept.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm in Nashville. I've been here almost 20 years. I still love living here. But I tell you what, this year has certainly been a little different. I love that this is called Keeping the Blues Alive, though, because I think Keith will agree with me on this. And matter of fact, Keith Richards said in an interview one time, he said, if you don't know how to play the blues on the guitar, you've got no business trying to learn how to play any other popular music on the planet. And I agree with it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to go with that 100%. I think blues is the root. We talk about roots music. I guess you got to put blues and gospel sort of side by side there as the twin roots of American music, and American music has become the root of international pop music. So I tell my students all the time, I say, just start with the rhythm and work your way up. And you can play just about anything you want.
Absolutely.
Sounds like good advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, Keith, you're teaching the blues, and Guthrie, we call it country guitar, but you really teach a lot more than just that at ArtistWorks. And this isn't meant to be a commercial for ArtistWorks, but I do think it's important. We've kind of pigeonholed the name of the course, but tell us a little bit more about your music and what you play, and also therefore what you teach.
That's okay. Yeah, I think the curriculum definitely leans a little bit towards country, but yeah, the concepts and approaches that I'm teaching in this curriculum can be applied to any style of music, and it's the way I learned when I was a kid about really having a nice foundation of knowing your chord shapes, which now people call the cage system. There's a lot more to it than that, of course, but that's kind of my concept of 50% the spirit of music and 50% kind of knowing enough about your instrument to where you can kind of unlock some of these pathways of being able to get to the point of expressing yourself musically on the instrument, which I think is the ultimate goal for all of us. And so, yeah, I'm teaching things that I think can be applied to any style of music. That's been my whole life's approach. And I'm kind of happy with it now where I'm at. I'm able to kind of, go in some different directions and say some different things on the instrument, with those tools. And so it seems to be working. I'm getting a lot of great feedback on that approach. And it's, like I said, it's a very, maybe even more like 75% the spirit of music, which is where we want to be able to get to. And then, supplementing that with enough knowledge of the fretboard or whatever, keyboard or whatever instrument you're teaching to be able to unlock those secrets,
Yeah. Well, obviously we're almost 9 months into just a crazy kind of situation, which is what brings us all together today. But it's interesting because, you two you have sort of different career paths. And so I'm wondering the differences in the impact of COVID to the two of you. Guthrie, you're more in the studios and performing, and Keith, you're more performing with the blasters. What's the difference? Let's talk about the differences between the two.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Keith Richards. I mean, I can remember still to this day, I can remember the moment I saw the Rolling Stones on TV for the first time, and we're going back a couple of years. And man, they had long hair, which meant it was down to about ear level, and they just looked so cool. And from that point forward, I just wanted to be in a band. I didn't really look at playing the guitar as being a professional musician in the eclectic sense of being able to play any style of music anywhere, anytime. I wanted to be in a band and play music together like that and go on stage and have the crowd go wild. So I kind of settled on that path, and after playing in a ton of bands like everybody else, around 1996 I think it was, I joined the Blasters, which is a American music band that's been around since about 1980 or thereabouts. And so I joined a band that had a long tradition of playing American music of all types. And when people asked us, what kind of music you play, we would say American music. It's like, well, what's that? Well, pretty much name a style, because it's all related. And blues is at the core, but rhythm and blues, well, what you can jazz it up, you can funk it up, but it's all coming from that same basic foundation. So anyway, our thing for the last 25 years has been going out and playing in front of people. And so with COVID, among other things, but COVID was sort of the point at which we had to say nobody can do this at this point, but our band in particular is kind of stopped dead. And so since the beginning of the year, we've only gotten together a couple of times to just play the songs and kind of keep the gears turning. But it pretty much put a dead stop on our activities. And that's not to say that there's a million bands, and you're going to meet some of them later here that are continuing and exploring podcasts and online performances. And there's a lot of options that have emerged out of this, which are good things. But as a live musician, it's like finito,
Yeah. Guthrie, it's been a little different for you, though. Well, I mean, it's been kind of the same, but things are starting to pick back up again for you. Right?
It's been very up and down, and it's picked up in a sense. Like some sessions and stuff have come in for sure, some projects, which was nice. But we had a really fun thing booked in Aspen. I was going to go out to Aspen with John Oates, who I work with and been friends with for about 15 years. And we were going to go out and do a duo gig, me and him, at the Wheeler Opera House on the 27th and 29th. And so I was going to stay out there for Christmas and New Year's and just have a nice little getaway or whatever. And of course, about 5 days ago, that all got canceled because of the upswing in COVID. And so, just at this point, I'm like, I don't even let that faze me, because I knew in the back of my mind that it was possible for that to get canceled. But I've only played maybe I think one, maybe 2 official gigs this year since I got back from Africa, which was in March at the beginning of the whole thing. But just I did a couple things out on a friend of mine's big boat here on the lake, but that was just for fun. And so that there hasn't been any official gigs. I think only one at the Station Inn, but it would just been a little tough. I mean, one of the things I've always enjoyed about the way my career or path has developed here in Nashville is I've always had about 5 or 6 things, all, kind of all hitting at the same time. It was like, the ArtistWorks and some sessions, live gigs, maybe doing some songwriting and just like all these different things happening, together and working on some projects too. And so that's what I thrive on is not that has enabled me to not get burned out on one thing, because when I was touring all the time, about 3 years into any gig, no matter how great the artist was, and I was lucky enough to be able to work with a lot of my heroes, Jerry Douglas, Patty Loveless, all these different people. And even after about 3 years, you start getting kind of burned out where you need some other, creative, fuel or whatever you want to call it. And so, so that this year's been tough. I mean, I've tried to reinvent myself a bunch of times as far as just, check, my attitude, keeping my attitude in check, trying to get in shape, getting some exercise. I was seeing how this could easily go the other way with people that were, drinking a lot or eating more and not taking care of themselves, laying around, getting depressed and all that kind of stuff. And hey, trust me, I'm with you. But when I started seeing that kind of creeping in a little bit of just across the board, talking to musicians around the world, no matter what age or whatever, the responses have almost could be scripted because we're all saying the same thing. We're starting to lose our purpose, our identity. People are like, hey, who am I without this guitar strapped around my neck for 40 years?
Wow.
And you put that thing down for a year and you're like back to yourself and you're going, oh man, this is something huge. So I view this whole thing as if you didn't come out of this with a huge learning experience of look, we are not this. This is not who we are. It's something that we can do and something that it's a vehicle for our soul to be able to come out. But when you put this thing when I put this thing down, I'm just another guy, and it's made me want to be a nicer person. It's made me a little less high maintenance. I've really tried to look at it and put a positive spin on this any way possible. Man, Thanksgiving was a tearjerker. I'm an only child. I wasn't able to be around my mom and dad, and I spent 2 days crying my eyes out walking around my neighborhood because I didn't know how to deal with it. And it was just something that I finally just went, you know what? The beautiful thing is we're all in this together. And the terrible part of it is that we're all in it together. So we just we're humans, we're strong, we're resilient. We can handle a lot. And man, you just got to take it day by day because it's going to get better and we're going to get through this.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that so much. I don't know if Marcus has any questions for you or if you guys want to play next. What's up, Marcus? What's happening?
Yeah, no, really inspiring. And I was just really kind of curious coming from musicians that have been so active over the years, sort of hitting the brakes so quickly and managing to keep yourself inspired. And you give some great insight there, but I'm just curious if any of you have insight for someone else that might be sort of feeling that. How do you connect and convert that sort of emotional experience into music, or how do you turn something good out of something bad like this?
Well, that's almost like Guthrie was alluding to there. It's almost a spiritual question, How does music fit into your emotional life? And if you're drawn to music and drawn to the expressive qualities of music, then, I guess the answer is here. And I think this is why a lot of people are taking online lessons, for example. And our enrollments are increasing actually is because people are seeing this as an opportunity to explore a part of their life, an aspiration that they might have had that they never had time for, And so now, because so many other obligations or perceived priorities have been pared back, and you're kind of left with a stripped down agenda. Things that used to, we're going to take a trip here, we're going to go over there, and I got to buy this and go, it's like, no, you're not going out to restaurants, not going to movies, not going to shows. So what do you do with your time? And so people are making the decision to use this opportunity to improve their skill. A lot of people, I'm sure it's the same with Guthrie. A lot of people I see in my program are players who have played the guitar, but just didn't have the time to really get into it. And now they have the time. And so it is an opportunity to see some kind of artistic development and start to just feel like there's an aesthetic quality that we all have. And if you have the opportunity to let it out, it does make you a better person, I would say. I'm with Guthrie 100% on that.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, how about some more music?
Go ahead, Keith.
Soul healing here.
On that reflective note.
Yeah.
All right.
That's so good.
Gracious.
All right. Well, I'm just going to grab the microphone for a moment here to remind everybody that's listening that we are here specifically for you to enjoy this great music and also to help us support keeping the blues alive. This is Giving Tuesday, and it's important that we support musicians who have been very negatively affected by this lockdown, shall we say, including those guys right here on the screen. But we have 5 folks with us today who are recipients of grants from Keeping the Blues Alive, which is Joe Bonamassa's 501c3 nonprofit organization. And ArtistWorks is a supporter of their very good work because they're going directly to these musicians and helping them financially and supporting music education as well. You can give as little as $10, and there is a link scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. And I do hope that you'll take just a moment and give back a little bit of what you have to those musicians who need some help right now. Marcus, I believe it is your turn to bring on one of the musicians, and I believe Fernando is first. So we're going to say goodbye just for a moment to Keith and Guthrie and bring on Fernando.
Welcome, everybody.
Hi,
Fernando
everybody.
Perdomo.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great Giving Tuesday on this first day of December. I wish I could say that this year went by really fast, but it feels like 5 years by now. It's all good, though. How are you doing?
Where are you checking in from today, Fernando?
I'm in Deep Valley, Winnetka, California, which is about 35 minutes north of Hollywood, near Reseda, where I was originally living, and Canoga Park and Woodland Hills, that area.
I graduated high school in Woodland Hills, but
Oh,
that's
cool.
for another day.
Awesome.
So tell us about your musical background and style.
Well, I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and I have had a really interesting career. Actually, I just turned 40, and this is my 20th year of being a professional musician. And I grew up in a Cuban family, and we didn't have a lot of rock and roll, so I kind of took matters into my own hands and brought a lot of rock and roll records into the house and really got obsessed with the Beatles at an early age. And I started playing guitar when I was around 9 or 10 years old. And I really started taking it seriously in high school. And I was very lucky to be a part of a high school that had a program called Rock Ensemble. And it was the first high school in America to have an actual for-credit rock ensemble class that was led by a teacher named Doug Burris, who started in '72. And what's really awesome was we were basically, I got to get through the whole cover band thing in high school because we were playing all over, doing, shows all over the country and playing all over Miami. And one of the things we did is we did Sgt. Pepper's as a show. And we're all like 15, 16 years old, and we're doing an entire Beatles album as a show, which was really amazing. And that really got me kickstarted into the biz. And right after high school, I joined like 5 bands and started playing every night, sneaking in the clubs when I was like 17, 18 years old. And when I turned 20, I started doing session work. And it was Miami, being a very kind of Latin town. I started doing a lot of session work on Latin records. And when I was 21 years old, I played on my first big record for an artist named Jennifer Lopez. And it literally came from me looking up recording studios in the Yellow Pages. Remember that? I'm old, so the Yellow Pages. And I found a studio and I said, hey, I'm Fernando. I'm a guitar player. And if you ever need a guitar player, I could play pretty much any style. And they're like, what are you doing tonight? And it's the typical thing where it's like, okay, I'll come in. And I played classical and flamenco guitar on a track called Ain't It Funny by Jennifer Lopez, which came out in 2002. And that was the beginning of my career. And I played on a bunch of Latin records and toured with Christian Castro and Paulina Rubio and Soraya and a bunch of other artists. And that was fun. But the entire time I was playing in rock bands and writing a lot of English rock and roll. And eventually Miami it was a very tough town to crack. I had a record label that I had started trying to push English music in Miami. And in the end, it just didn't go anywhere. So I moved out here to Los Angeles in 2012. And it's been everything I wanted to be because I do a lot of session work. I'm a singer-songwriter. And I've gotten to work with some incredible artists, not just like up and coming, but for my record collection. And it's been a real amazing thing. And I was chosen to be in a movie called Echo in the Canyon, which came out 2019. And that was a dream experience because I got to work with Neil Young, Eric Clapton, Stephen Stills, Fiona Apple, Beck, just all these incredible, Cat Power, Regina Spektor.
That was a Jacob Dylan project.
It's a Jacob Dylan project.
Yeah.
And I got to play with Jacob, which I've never told him this because I was told not to tell him this. But when I was in that rock ensemble, we did One Headlight because it was a new song at the time.
Yeah.
And I have video of me playing One Headlight when I was 15 years old. And, 20 years later, I'm playing with him. And the same thing happened with Fiona Apple because we did Criminal. Same thing happened there. Same thing goes for, I just recently worked with a guy named Andy Kravitz, who was the drummer for Joan Osborne. We did 2 Joan Osborne songs that he played on. So it's been the ultimate, full circle, working with these artists, being their friends, and interacting with people that I originally played, in high school, these songs. So they've been a part of me forever, and now I'm continuing the journey. So I do a lot of session work. I'm an artist. I've put out a bunch of singer-songwriter records. And recently I've been putting out guitar-oriented instrumental albums. And that came out of nowhere because I got kind of roped into a style of music which I've always loved, which is progressive rock. And I started working with a guy named Dave Kersner. And with him, I worked with Steve Hackett and Durga McBroom from Pink Floyd and Steve Rothery of Marillion. And that's a world I always wanted to get into. And I started making my own prog records because progressive rock is kind of an interesting genre now because it's very metal oriented. And there's the Dream Theater world where everyone's got, 7 strings and, shredding all over the neck. And there's a lot of double bass drum and and very lick oriented. But I wanted to bring back the original style of progressive rock, which is flutes, mellotrons, acoustic guitars, 12 strings in harmony, and a lot of really mellow but beautiful soaring stuff. So the stuff I put out called Out to Sea is influenced mostly by Jan Ackerman, Peter Banks, the band Camel, Steve Hackett. And it's very soaring, melodic prog. And that's kind of what I've been known for. But, you know, look, I mean, the career of music, I enjoy the variety because I've played on, you know, reggaeton, rap records. I've played on some really strange, like some TV stuff, which is a lot of fun. So I enjoy the variety of it all. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
Cool.
It's great.
And how did you get connected to Joe? Like, how did you hear about the program and get?
Well, I got connected to Joe through Sean, who's I've known since South Florida times. We've played in bands together in South Florida, and also through Norman's Rare Guitars, where I love going there, even though it's dangerous because I'm not made of money, but I show up and I love all the instruments, and I've got a good reputation. I've got a good friendship with Norman, and I also know Paulie, who's plays sax with him, and I love Joe. Joe's an amazing guy because even though he's well known as a blues artist, he's everywhere. I mean, he's an incredible all around guy. I also know JJ Blair, who he works with, and you know, it's a great town to live in because it seems like it's very friendly. Even though there's competition in LA, it's very friendly. I feel like everybody's helping each other out, and in this case, it definitely came in handy because my entire world, everyone's world, completely changed when the COVID thing happened, and I've had to adjust everything to be able to survive as a musician.
Yeah. And how is this like connection to the Keeping the Blues Alive Foundation like helped you sort of keep the career alive during this time?
It's definitely helped a lot. Any help helps because I run a studio in my home, and suddenly I couldn't bring anybody in, and I had to start working mostly remotely, and I've had to do some crazy things. I've actually been working mostly as a drummer. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so I usually play pretty much everything on my records, and I had to start selling my services as a drummer because that's one thing that people are living, especially in apartments and stuff, can't really use. But the Keeping the Blues Foundation really helped me a lot because it's so difficult. I know a lot of people that are going through so much that we're playing in cover bands, for example, and doing 100% live, and it's definitely taught a lot of people that you have to have a way of recording yourself at home, especially in these days where it's like there's no stages anymore. So people have started doing a lot of live streaming, and people have started doing a lot of live shows and on the internet. And also, I love the fact that a lot of music is being made. I feel now that the live industry's gone, more albums are being made, more music is being written. So everything, there's always two sides to the coin, but foundations like keeping the blues alive, where they're helping out with schools and programs like that, that's going to save music. That's going to be everything we need for the rest of the history of music to continue to flow. Because kids, man, I mean, with all the schools kind of Xing out the music programs, they're not going to have a story like mine, where I had a school that had a very great music program that said, you know, let's show you what this music business is. Because a lot of things that people don't understand, like a lot of kids, they kind of learn music as a hobby, but I was told from an early age by meeting people like mentors like Tom Dowd and Emilio Stefan down there, and Sebastian Chris and stuff, that look, you can make a business out of this. You can make a career out of this. So I think it's really important that all these charities that give money to musicians, it's going to definitely not just it's going to keep everything alive. I think it's definitely important for the future of music in general.
I like what you say there, Fernando. It is about keeping the music alive, and
100%.
Thank you for saying
Thanks, Patricia.
that. Glad that you're with us today. I think Keith and Guthrie are coming on here just to see if they have any questions or just want to chat with you
Go
about
for it.
being a fellow musician during COVID. How about that?
Hi, Keith. Hi, Guthrie.
Hey, Fernando.
Hey,
What's up,
buddy.
guys?
So I wanted to allow the musical conversation to open up between the three of you guys in case there's something you want to say, even if it's musically. I'm just saying.
So what's up, y'all?
Pick a key.
Oh, how about something nice and mellow? A little.
Here, I got one. I got one for you, Fernando.
Bring it on. Oh, hey! Oh man, I'm gonna have a big conversation with my girlfriend after this. I moved out of Miami to not play stuff like that, but I love it. It's cool.
Oh man, that's my favorite. That's all I listen to.
Oh, cool, cool. I listen to your boss all the time. John Oates is. I have a big connection with them because in Miami there was a guy named Eddie Zine who was their drummer from '74 to '77, and being such a big Hall & Oates fan, I went up to him and said, I need a drummer because I played all the drums on the first Dreaming. My band was called Dreaming in Stereo, and I played all the drums on the first record. I'm like, I need a drummer. He's like, why me? I'm like, because I know what you could do. Because a lot of the modern drummers, they don't do what you do, and I've seen you play with Hall & Oates, so you're already auditioned. And he was my drummer for about 5 years, and we stayed friends. He recently passed away, but I met John a few times through him, and I'm still really good friends with Charlie DeChant and all the guys that were in the old band. And
Yeah. John's one of my best friends, man. I've known him for about 15 years. It does not get any better than that human being right there.
John is one of my favorite songwriters. And, especially in the early days of Hall & Oates, where there was almost like a half and half on those albums. Man, John, his songs totally hit me really, really hard. And I've always been inspired by all the incredible guitar playing and all the incredible production on those records. And
if you want to hear, if you're missing Hall & Oates and you need to hear them, just go to any Walgreens or any grocery store.
But that's not the Hall & Oates I listen to.
Any drugstore.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for the time that you're chatting together here. We have 4 other artists we need to bring on. Fernando, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Patricia and guys, and for having me. And I love what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring Marcus back on here, and we've got a couple more folks to bring on. And I think Gina is next, right, Marcus?
Yeah, coming up next, we've got Gina Romantini.
Ah, there she is.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going pretty darn well for, I don't even know what day of the week it is. Tuesday in COVID times.
And where are you calling in from today?
I'm in Echo Park.
Echo Park, and that is California?
Yeah, LA. Sorry.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Echo Park.
We're in the neighborhood. I'm in Eagle Rock.
Park.
I'm in Eagle Rock.
Oh, are you? We're
Yeah.
neighbors.
Hey, all you slick Californians! I'm just going to remind you that you always have to have a token hillbilly in there somewhere. And I'm just happy to be that guy. I mean,
Keeping it real.
There's one in every 4 square, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, Gina, tell us a little bit about your music.
About my music, I am a fiddle player. I play with mostly rock and roll bands. I kind of did I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to drive my car by myself all the way across the country from Wisconsin at 22 thing. And I've gotten some really great opportunities doing that. I've played with some really awesome bands. Fernando and I have both played with Jacob Dylan. I toured with the Wallflowers for a while, so we have that little connection there. But I've gotten to play with a lot of amazing people, and I've gotten a lot of really great opportunities. And during COVID, I started a band with a bunch of my students who are all teenage girls. We play rock songs on violins and violas, and it's pretty badass. If I
In
do.
fact, I think we do have a little sample here, and the group is called Stingrays, right?
Stingrays.
Stringrays.
It's a pun.
Sorry, very
They
important.
thought it was lame. I thought it was really good. They didn't. They rolled their eyes at that. But I'm in charge, so I make the decisions.
All right, well, everybody, I've got a little reel of the Stingrays here coming at you. So check it out. This is Gina Romantini's group.
We're Stingrays.
This experience has been cool because you get to hear string instruments play songs you wouldn't normally hear on strings.
We are all learning to record, produce, and arrange our own music at home and over Zoom.
I've really loved having something to work on and being productive, and plus it's really fun, and I love making music and collaborating with these awesome girls.
We post videos regularly on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Stingrays Music.
Yay!
Yay!
All right.
They were forced into that.
Yeah.
Playing under duress. In fact, speaking of playing, I think you have another musician there with you at this time, don't you?
I do. I have my co-front person of my band here. My band is called Circus 62, and we're gonna play. I just called him and said, "Hey, can you play some chords?" I don't know what's gonna happen here, but neither does he. And that's what jazz is all about, right?
Sounds
play the
good.
wrong note, just play it again. Oh yeah, behind the scenes, he just like knocked my violin over. So just things that happen in the house here. All right, should we do a little bluesy kind of number?
Sure.
All right.
Yay!
Beautiful. All right.
I love that. That's great. You just made it up? That's awesome.
Cool. And what do you if you got going there with the violin? You got it rigged up electrically. Are you running through it?
I've got a pickup on here. Yeah, I've got a pickup. I usually go through a pedal board. I have a West Coast pedal board, which is tweed, which I am obsessed with. And I run through a bunch of pedals. And yeah, I play with a lot of rock bands, so I kind of gotta rock out a bit, you know?
Awesome. So tell us how you connected with Joe. Like, how's this program helped you this summer?
I heard about the program through Music Cares because I kind of know them. So it's definitely been an interesting time for musicians, and a lot of us needed help. So this was a really, like, the time that this rolled around was really amazing. So I really, really appreciate everything that Keeping the Blues Alive has done. And I think it's a really pretty awesome organization.
Yeah, absolutely. And are there any other musical projects you have underway, or like what's active for your schedule currently? Do you have anything on the horizon?
So our band is going to release a single in the next month, I believe, with a video. And then we got a string raised video coming out next week. And then I do a lot of home recording. I play like people send me their songs, I play on them and send it back. That's the way it works now. I got a good little home studio setup going on.
Very cool. And how does somebody connect with you if they wanted to learn more about that?
I'm on Instagram. I actually have gotten a lot of recording work off of Instagram. So
wow,
find me online.
That's
Cool.
great. And should they just look for Gina Romantini, like we have your name? So just look for you on Instagram.
Romantini, like martini.
Excellent. That's my sister's name, Martini.
Really?
Yeah, Romantini. That's very cool.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Gina, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on being a recipient of Fueling the Musicians program. Clearly, money well spent. You're very talented, and hope that this whole situation pans out okay for you, and that your music continues to entertain the world. Thank you so much.
It will. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So we have now, what's coming up next? What have we got? Maybe Guthrie and Keith could play a little bit for us. How about that?
I think we need some more music if they're
We
up for
do. They're up for it. All right. There's one. Let me
So-
find Keith. Wait, I lost Keith. Where'd Keith go?
There we go.
Oh, there. Thank you, Marcus.
I'll play this,
Too many buttons to press here. I'm telling you. Okay.
I think Keith went last, so I'll play this little. I just want to make sure I fulfill my contractual obligation here. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'll play this. This has kind of become a little bit of a standard on the old ArtistWorks live stream these days. This is a little one that I used to play with my uncle. It's called the Buck Dancer's Choice. And now I'm no Chet Atkins, and so. My solo act is not what it should be, but I will say this: I'll give it the old South Alabama try. But here we go. This one's called the Buck Dancer's Choice.
Woo!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mercy, mercy,
Oh, okay.
mercy.
I love that. I
And
love
safe.
that. Yeah. He landed it. He landed it.
That's like the Opry chord. They go like this. Once they go.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I want to just take the microphone for just a second before we bring on two more musicians who are recipients of the Fueling the Musicians Award. And we want to have Guthrie and Keith stay on to chat with them as well. I think there's been some question about the link for donations. Please make sure you check out the comments here on Facebook as well as YouTube and Periscope/Twitter. We have the correct link going across the bottom here. And do remember that Facebook is matching all donations today, which is really very important to an organization as meaningful and important as Keeping the Blues Alive.
Nice.
So yeah, even if it's $10, it's an important time of the year to help these musicians who really are not really playing and doing much right now. So Marcus, I think we're going to kind of turn it over to you, and we're going to bring on Chris and Tom at this point, I believe. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, our next two recipients of the grant here is Tom Laskey and Chris Condon. Welcome both to you. Tom, looks like you might be muted. Chris, where are you checking in from?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm in Nashville as well.
Awesome.
Hey, it's me and you, buddy, against California.
That's it.
And Tom, where are you checking in from today?
Tom, you're muted. You're muted, Tom.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Oh, okay. I'm checking in from Atlanta.
All right.
Yeah.
He's with us. He's with us, baby.
Right.
And Chris, it sounds like you and Guthrie might know each other from
Yes, we do.
previous iterations, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. And so, Tom and Chris, how did you come to tie up with Joe in this whole thing? Like, how did you get mixed up in this whole thing?
Well, I've been listening to Joe since back in high school. I remember, the Royal Albert Hall DVD I used to play all the time and stuff. So I've been a fan of Joe's for a while, but it was actually another industry friend of mine, my friend Maya Dyson. She sings backgrounds for India Ari. She just hit me up one day and told me that she found out about this program and sent me the application. So from there, I kind of checked it out and applied, and that's how I got tied into this.
Very cool. How about you, Chris?
Oh, I just want to start to say thank you for the donation. That's super helpful. Thank you. And a buddy of mine, Reed Barron, told me about it, and I applied, and y'all were gracious enough to give me the funds. So that's been a huge help.
Very cool. And have you been able to stay afloat during these times? Like, what's keeping you busy these days?
Mostly production and session work, and just a few gigs here and there. when they come up. So
Yeah. And how about you, Tom?
Yeah, same. A lot of session work, and then here and there I've done some virtual taping gigs where we kind of record the set for it to be broadcast later. I've done a lot of gospel gigs like that throughout the pandemic. As churches can't have services, they've been taping all the music portion of the services so that we tape it and then they play it on the Sundays and stuff like that, and other virtual concerts outside of the gospel industry as well.
Very nice. And are you able to sort of work on personal projects at this time, or has it been more sort of session stuff, just sort of trying to keep the ball rolling, so to speak?
Yeah, I've just been trying to just work with, honestly, since I've been in Atlanta more now. I was traveling so much before COVID that sometimes people call you for sessions and stuff and you're just not in town and you can't really make it happen just from not being there. So it's definitely been nice to be here and be able to, respond when people call and be in town ready to go if they have some work to do,
Yeah, very cool. And we were talking a little bit just backstage about sort of the difference with, since pandemic times, just the difference in what a session looks like. There used to be the way that you would go and do that, but obviously there's been a lot of changes recently. What does that look like for you? Like, what does a session consist of these days?
Masks. Lots of masks.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing a mask.
Isolation booths are really coming in handy these days.
Yeah.
And do you find that a lot of the work is still bringing you into physical studios and collaborating with Musically that way, or are you doing any of this from home these days? Has there been any changes on that sort of front?
I would
Both,
say,
I'd say.
Yeah, both ends. Definitely a lot of tracking from home and sending it out to sending files to people and sending them back and working like that. So definitely a mix.
Cool. And same for you, Chris, was that?
Yeah, it's been a mix of both. I got my house as a whole studio, and then I track at a bunch of other places around town and just doing what I can.
So, Chris, you're in Nashville, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's up with the wood wall there? You and Guthrie in cahoots? What'd you do?
From opposite angles of the same room.
What'd you do? Tear down a barn?
That's from the pallet factory in Mount Juliet.
Hey, Chris, this guy on ArtistWorks, or one of my students or something, private students or something, he goes, man, how long you been hanging out in the woodshed? I said, dude, all my life.
Oh my God. What's funny though is ArtistWorks has a new studio backdrop, and we were shocked when we saw Guthrie on one of these live events because they're the same.
I didn't know you guys were doing it, and then
we didn't know you were doing it. You copied us.
I was like, hey, man,
copied us.
I think we got something going on.
I think we do, and I'm glad to see it on Chris's too. I wondered if maybe you guys could play something together, because we've got one more, and we've got Wild Ponies coming up here, and they're definitely going to play for us, and you don't want to miss that. But I wondered can we kind of get some, I don't know, amalgamation of blues guitar going here?
Sure.
Somebody figured this out.
Well, how about if I go, and then we'll go me, Keith, Josh, Tom.
No, Chris, Tom.
I mean, Chris.
Josh is not here.
Listen. So I've known Chris for 10 years, and one of my best friends from school. I'm literally, I knew this kid since I was born. He was one of my best friends. His name's Josh Condon.
Oh.
And so I was talking to Chris on the phone earlier, and I go, all right, Josh. And he goes, Josh. I said, oh man, I'm so sorry. But I had, it was one of my friends that I'm sorry. I know who you are, Chris.
Nice save. Nice save, Guthrie.
All right, here we go. How about a little,
okay, do your thing.
I'm not going to do anything really with a groove to it because we can't get that going. Right. So
okay.
I'm just going to play a little something. Right.
Ha ha! I'll put a little groove up in it. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Woo!
Nice.
Great ensemble work. Yeah, go Guthrie.
Here's the same thing without all the extra notes. Just like the record.
Yeah, mine too.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah. Bravo. You guys are great. You guys are great.
No extra charge for mistakes.
Free notes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to grab the microphone just one more time, but ask Tom and Chris to hang out because we're going to bring on the last musician here to chat with them a little bit. And just want to encourage everybody to make sure you take a look at the scroll going across the bottom of our screen, and please help support this wonderful organization of Joe Bonamassa's Keeping the Blues Alive that helps fuel the livelihood of many musicians and also supports music education. So, Chris, Josh, and Tom, can you hang out for a little while and maybe we'll be able to have like a really fun jam at the end with like a whole bunch of noise and kind of supposed to be music kind of thing?
Right.
All right. So we are going to bring on our next guest here, and you guys hang out backstage and we will bring you back in a minute. Okay. This is Wild Ponies, and Marcus, I'll leave it up to you to introduce these great musicians.
Yeah. Wild Ponies, welcome. This is
Hey, guys.
Telisha Williams and Doug.
Hey, how are y'all?
Doing very good. And where are you guys checking in from today?
Nashville,
Yeah.
East Nashville, technically Madison. Sorry, we did move from East Nashville a little further out to Madison.
Didn't have
Are
enough lumberjack.
y'all going to the Legion Hall tonight?
We're going to the Legion Hall tonight. You know what? It's funny, Guthrie. We a couple of weeks ago, I just couldn't take it anymore, and I set up our living room to be like the Legion, so we could do a little two-step in here in the living room.
Nice.
We did. We changed the lighting and everything.
Yeah.
Doug changed the lighting. And
I'm down here right around the corner from Cafe Rose. You know where that is?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could throw a rock and hit it from right here.
Nice.
Yeah, we used to go to the Family Wash when it was across the street there at Vinyl Tap when we first moved to town. That was
When it was cool.
when it was cool. Exactly. Yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got fired from Vinyl Tap. They fired us.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's
I've,
okay.
No, it's
I've never been fired in my life, and I got fired from Vinyl Taps. And me and my buddy Jimmy Wallace lives down the street. He was an amazing keyboard player, plays with Joe Walsh and all these different people, Wallflowers, all those people that they talked about earlier. And he lives like 2 doors down from it this way, and I live 2 doors down from it this way. And I came back from doing a tour or something, and I said, "Hey, are we good to keep doing our Wednesday nights?" And we had this cool thing going in there. And this was like 3 years ago, and they go, you know what? We don't think we're going to have y'all back. We want to go into a more neighborhood direction. I said, it doesn't get any more neighborhood than this, dude. We live right here.
Everybody's 2 blocks away or two.
I'm like, who are you guys? You're nuts. Anyway,
I'm with
I go to France.
Anyway.
So yeah, I guess there isn't like a prerequisite wood wall to be broadcasting from Nashville.
Well,
we got a
hat
hat wall.
wall instead.
Yeah.
No.
This is great. Very creative walls today. So tell us a
Hello,
little about your
Wall.
music, Wild Ponies.
Well, we consider what we do pretty roots and Americana oriented. We discovered actually we grew up in Virginia, in southwestern Virginia, a little town called Martinsville. But Doug's grandparents lived in Galax, and we spent a lot of time at the Galax Old Time Fiddlers Convention in the summers. That's actually where this bass came from, was from the Fiddlers. And we discovered when we went back there to make our most recent record, Galax, that as we were putting together the songs for that record, we actually write old time songs, and we didn't even know it.
Accidentally. Like they've all been old time songs all along, and we didn't even know it. We thought we were playing the blues or rock and roll, but it turned out we were writing old time songs.
Yeah, but it's all in the same vein.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And so how did you make the connection with the Fueling Musicians program?
Well, so I'm a part of the Nashville Music Women group on the social media, which has been an amazing resource for women in the music industry throughout Nashville and beyond. And somebody posted about this early in the pandemic, and I just sent a message and applied for the grant, and then it happened. We got notified that we received the grant 5 days after our food truck caught fire.
Oh,
so
goodness.
we were not quitting our career as musicians, but we did do a pandemic pivot and open a food truck business during the pandemic that we plan to keep going. In addition to our music career, we co-own that with our roommate, Laura Schneider, and who's an amazing photographer in town too. So that news came 5 days after the food truck caught on fire. So we were literally in like head in hands. What are we going to do mode when we got notification? So it could not have come at a better time for us.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so where's it ended up now? Like as far as your music, what's on the horizon for you? Are you guys busy with anything at the moment? Working on any projects?
Yeah, we're writing and playing, and we're not like everybody else. We're not touring. We're not on the road anymore, which is what we normally do. But we've been writing, and it's time to make a new record. We bought a house up here in Madison about 7 minutes before the pandemic hit. And we had to cancel all of our tours. But the little neighborhood we're in Madison is called Rainbow Terrace, and we love this little neighborhood. And the next record is going to be called Rainbow Terrace, and we're going to record the whole thing right here. Bring some of our buddies in to sit around the house with us from Nashville and from around. I think Fats Kaplan's going to play. Nielsen Hubbard's going to record it. He's recorded the last several of our records. So that's the plan for us.
Fantastic. Well, would you mind giving the folks a sample of your music? You want to play for us a little?
Yeah, let's do it. What are you going to play? Should we play something slow and new, or old and fast?
That's a good question.
What are you feeling?
Let's do something new. That's gonna go on that new record, Rainbow Terrace, that we're talking about. This song we started playing. We played it out one time before before lockdown, back in at the end of February. Our last gig was February 27th in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we played this song for the first time there. And then it's become sort of a regular song on our streams. And we do a Patreon concert once a month for our patrons. And it's become a part of that. And it's a song called Breathe, Child, Breathe. And we didn't really realize that when we wrote this song with our good friend Ben Glover, what breathing was going to mean to us during this time. And it, not just the life, just daily breathing, but actually sitting with our breath. And we've gotten really into mindful meditation during the pandemic because we've had time to do that.
We have time to sit.
We have time to sit. And so this song has really blossomed into a deeper meaning than I think we knew when we first wrote it with Ben. It's called Breathe, Child, Breathe. Breathe, child, breathe. The air within around you. Trust the hands that hold you. Breathe, child, breathe. The echo of each heartbeat. Love is what knows you. Breathe, sister, breathe. In the swirling storm around you, be still and know your power. Breathe, sister, breathe. Everything you need is in you, and you're in everything. Breathe, friend, breathe. The beauty in the broken, deep in the eyes around you. Breathe, friend, breathe. Searching for refuge, we're already home. Breathe, child, breathe. The air within around you. Trust the hands that hold you.
Wow. I had to take a moment. That was absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
And just really so, yeah. Marcus, you're muted. How really poignant that you talk about breathing, especially, there's just been so much that's happened this entire year that has to do with catching your breath.
So much. Yeah, we had no idea when we wrote that what breathe was going to mean.
Has a lot of meaning this year.
Yeah.
Thank you for such a beautiful piece. And I really love your music. I have to say, it's the first time I've heard you, and I've of course heard you in sound check and all, and really love the harmonies that you make together. And it's really very beautiful. I had to just thank you for your music, and boy, am I glad that ArtistWorks has been able to support an organization that can support you.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, it means a lot. Like Telisha said, it's really important. It's we here in Nashville, people, it's tough. Times are hard, and we feel very lucky to receive a little bit of a grant and a little bit of help to move forwards, and
a little breathing room.
Boy, very poignant. Yeah, very poignant, very meaningful. So I was hoping that we might be able to bring back on some of the other musicians that have worked with us before. Are there right now wiping away tears from such a beautiful song. But how about we bring everybody back and let Professor Wyatt lead us to maybe a beautiful musical ending here. How about that? Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, Professor Wyatt, what's happening? What are we doing?
I can't think of anything nicer than just picking up on what you guys just played.
Oh, who's going next? Gina.
I was trying to back him up a little bit.
Can't do it, but we'll have Gina go, and then we'll have Chris. Gina and Chris, and then Tom. Go ahead, Gina.
You can keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt him.
Go ahead, Gina.
Okay. Do I be a little slow thing?
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, Chris, you're up next. Tom?
Yeah.
Bravo. Really fantastic. What a lovely way for us to end our time together. Keith, thank you so very much for helping me spearhead this, and Marcus as well. Guthrie had to leave us for yet another fundraising event, but boy, Gina, thank you. Chris, Tom, the Wild Ponies. We also had Fernando. I hope I haven't missed anybody, but really great to spend time with you. And I want to do whatever we can do to preserve your music and keep you working and participating and contributing to the world of music. I'd like to bring on Sean Haygood just as a little bit of a goodbye. He is from Keeping the Blues Alive, and he's been the person that has put this whole thing together. Sean, thank you for everything.
No, thank you guys so much. You know, this has been a really difficult time, and I'm so glad that Joe and Keeping the Blues Alive were able to come together with ArtistWorks and actually get this thing off the ground so quickly. I know all of us as musicians, we're used to having to be flexible and work on our toes all the time, and it's just really great that, you know, all of us are able to come together and actually pull this thing off. It feels so great. Such great music. I really enjoyed it. And I know all of our followers and friends and donors, they're all like super excited to watch this afterwards as well.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Sean. And thank you also to Rachel and everybody else at Keeping the Blues Alive. And thank you, Joe Bonamassa, for putting together such a great organization. Any final words, Marcus?
No, just thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you to all the musicians. Really enjoyed the playing and hearing about your music, and I look forward to checking you all out online.
Likewise, yeah,
Wishing
we'll
you all
find
the
you.
best.
We're on the internet.
Yeah, we'll see you on the internet. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.